the worst luck with tradesmen. He got pretty aggressive, left me in a death trap, like threatening the neighbours. Asked your dad to buy me a drink. Oh my goodness, okay, where do we start? Hello, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. I'm not. No, I've had a really rough couple of weeks, and the last time that I was here, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't happy at all. I wasn't happy in the slightest. So what I thought I would do is use this opportunity to kind of bring you up to speed, kind of explain to you what's been going on behind the scenes, and yeah, why I'm feeling so deflated basically. So why not start in chronological order? You guys know that I have had the worst luck with tradesmen. The worst luck, from even, you know, when I first started looking and everyone was being really patronising and condescending, to where we are today. I might as well start with the initial plumber I had instructed. Now, the initial plumber was from mybuilder.com, which, you know, I thought he would be reputable, he would be reliable, because he's coming from that particular site. Wasn't, as I do with all the tradesmen that come around, but in this instance the plumbers, I walk them through the property from start to finish in its entirety, and I say this is what I want doing. It's pretty much the same scripts because it's the same work that needs doing. One of the reasons I think I mentioned that I chose him was because, unlike some of the other guys I had, he wasn't patronising, he wasn't like super condescending, he didn't talk down to me or treat me like a kid. He was pleasant enough and his price was reasonable, so I thought, why not? Lo and behold, the man who came to start the work was the same man who quoted me. However, he was entirely different in terms of attitude, demeanour, level of respect. Completely flipped the script. So for instance, we had already agreed the work that needed doing. On the day, however, there were so many things he just said, I'm not doing it, you should do it, Chloe. Why don't you do it? And I was kind of like, what? For instance, I'm pointing over here because here I have my gas fireplace and I've got pipes, the gas pipes that lead to the fireplace. And he said to me, oh, I've cut off the gas now, you can just pull it, it's all right, Chloe. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm not a gas engineer, I'm not a plumber, I have no idea what I'm touching, I don't feel comfortable doing so. And I thought that's what I'd instructed you to do. In short, he was just like, I'm not doing it. We went back and forth on it as well. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why. Now all of a sudden he was saying I'm not doing things and I am doing these things. Like, it was very bitty. Same in the kitchen, same in the bathroom even. So he even said, I'll run your pipes to the bathroom and I'll leave them at the door. So I'm like, hold on a minute, that doesn't make any sense. We specifically agreed, and you probably remember before he started, I was literally running around like a headless chicken trying to get my kitchen and bathroom design down so that he could work from it, because it was something that he specifically requested to be able to do the kitchen and bathroom plumbing. So for him to now say, actually, I'm not doing it, and whoever your kitchen or bathroom fitter is can pick up where I left off, which is obviously going to cost me more money and more ag mentally. Yeah, for the life of me, I just couldn't understand. And he was just very rude, like just so rude. Yeah, he was patronising, he was condescending, he wasn't a nice person. Long story short, I asked him to down tools and I said to him, please, you know, do not come back to finish the job until and unless we come to an agreement. I also changed the locks, which in hindsight was the best decision ever, because he didn't listen to me. And the next day he did come back. I was at work, so I physically couldn't come to the property, and I didn't feel comfortable with him being in there on his own. He got pretty aggressive. He even started like threatening the neighbours. It just wasn't very pleasant at all, and luckily I wasn't here, but even so, you can imagine it wasn't a nice situation to be in. So yeah, the threats continued. He said he was going to take the hinges off my door. He was just basically trying his luck and was banking on me kind of giving in to the threats, which I didn't. At the moment, we have a boiler. And do you know what? Let me just show you exactly what I mean while we're on the subject. So if you can see that, you've got the boiler in, but entirely isolated. It hasn't actually been connected to the gas or the electricity. So yeah, and that was done in probably half a day. I don't even think it was a full day's work. Right, are we back? We're back. Next up, we had my dodgy electrician, and you can probably remember me saying that the first thing I noticed was that the sockets were chased really high up on the wall, and at first I thought, oh God, it's really high, but that's probably because it's regulation. But for the life of me, I just couldn't kind of wrap my head around it, so I googled what I thought the regulation was. That had came up as 450 millimeters, but even so, the sockets he had chased were much higher. So I thought, no, I've got to say something. Bear in mind, when I first got the property, I walked around it with my dad. I was literally, just as an indication, we were saying, okay, it needs a rewire. Where do I want my respective sockets and switches and all of that good stuff? So I was saying, I want a couple in this corner, I want one over there on that wall, just to kind of gauge how many I want per room and whatnot. When I raised this with the electrician, he said to me that he chased the sockets exactly where the X's were. You actually just can't make this up, it's actually ludicrous. Also, we didn't measure them up because we didn't think we needed to. And by the looks of it, neither did he, because they were all like slightly different heights. So I mentioned that to him as well, and he said, no, 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 I've marked them all to be, I don't know, 69 centimeters higher or something like that. And I said, no, because they're all different heights anyway. So I said, look, can you just move them down? Move them to, I think I said 11 inches. And he said to me, no, can't be done because 11 inches is too low. He said 450 millimeters is a regulation, which is slightly higher. And then he said it's gonna cost an additional amount to move lower. This is what they look like at the moment. If I come round, excuse the state of everything. There's a lot going on at the moment. So this is what it currently looks like over there. I mean, this is kind of the premise of the whole house. So they've just been chased into the wall, and then the sockets will go into that little rectangular square thing. This is the height of the wall, and that was the previous divider, right? And this was the previous socket, way down here, way down here. Right, look at the height of that now. In fact, if I can get it into one shot, you see the height difference. So from floor to the wall, this is 45 centimeters. Where the black bit starts of the tape measurer, right? I wonder what the difference is. Like, let me show you if I can measure it up. There's 20 plus centimeters out. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, isn't it? Who wants a socket that high on the wall? I'm literally fuming. Like, are you kidding me? In fact, let me show you this one. This is not the same height. I don't know if you can see from like, just eyeballing it, but that is not the same height. I think that one's higher than that one. I just don't understand the rationale behind it. He didn't have any words, like he didn't have anything to say for it, and I just thought, oh my gosh, why am I telling you your job? You're the electrician, you should be advising me, this is ridiculous. So I asked him to down tools, but, oh, it gets worse. I called in someone else, because what I was hoping for was that they could pick up exactly where this electrician, the previous one, left off. But what they highlighted to me was that there were so many things wrong in what he had done to date. It just couldn't be rectified. I might as well just show you exactly what I mean. Come on, come with me. Sorry, before I show you, just to elaborate slightly on that point, what I was really hoping for was for him, the new electrician, to pick up where the other electrician left off. As we're walking through the property, he was showing me exactly why it just couldn't be done. It just had to be stripped and started from scratch. Let me just show you what I mean. Actually, look, this one's nice and clear. Right, let's see if we can get that. Can you see that? That's red and black. It's a bit blurry, but you might be able to just make out that that is red and black, right? Despite the blur. Yeah, there we go, red and black. And then these ones are, I think, blue and grey, blue and another colour. Anyway, okay, so what the electrician explained to me was that the red and the black wires are super old school, as in 15 to 20 years old. You would never use them in a new rewire, and it just wouldn't pass regulation. As soon as he saw it, he just thought, what on earth has this guy done? The blue and the grey, or even blue and brown wires, are the new ones that he was supposed to have used. So it looks like he's got a bit of both running through the property, but majority red and black. So the electrician reckons that he was trying to use up all his old wires, and then when he ran out, bought some new ones. But bear in mind, the old electrician was charging me for materials, for having priced me for the wires that he's just got from, I don't know, his shed. And it's so frustrating because electrics, your electrics, your plumbing and things like that, it just isn't something you want to play around with. And he was willing to do that. Had I not asked him to down tools, had I not realised the issue with the sockets, he would have done that and left me in a death trap, basically. Love that. And guess what? That's not even the end of it. So let me just try and explain it to you how the new electrician explained it to me. What he said was that my wires, my electric wires, should not be running directly adjacent to my copper plumbing pipes. So he said what they should have done was carved out, cut through an entirely separate route. So by that I mean through the joist, have an entirely separate route from my electrics, which is entirely independent from my plumbing. And as you can see, they were both in the same place. Oh, it's just such a headache. And I just can't believe, like, how do people sleep at night? How can they think that that's okay? Sorry, the sun's really beaming today, but yeah, I'm not happy. And that's not even the end of it. Let me just explain the rest. Last up, we have my most recent plumber, who again turned out to be an absolute crook. I'll keep this one really short because this is just draining. When I had the conversation with the plumber initially, I specified that there were a few things that I wanted to keep in the property. You can sense some sort of reluctance in his voice, but even so, he was just like, yeah, that's fine. Long story short, I came back to the property twice. Lo and behold, my stuff had gone. The things I specifically asked him to keep and the things that he had agreed to leave behind. I addressed it with him, I confronted him, and can you believe he said to me, if you want them back, ask your dad to buy me a drink. Ask your dad to buy me a drink. That's literally what he said to me. And I just, for the life of me, couldn't understand where these people come from. Like, how can you think that's okay?
Sorry, I'm just going to interject here because I completely forgot to explain where I got this Cowboy from. And at this point, you're probably wondering, how is she picking up all these scallywags? So let me explain. Essentially, he was actually recommended by my parents, would you believe it? I know. Hear me out, hold on, let me explain. They called him out a few times over the years just to service our boiler or do small jobs like that back home. So they have used him before, albeit not to the extent that I was instructing him here. But in this instance, honestly, I experienced a whole different side of him. He completely flipped. And I don't know if that's because we've never hired him to do something quite as big as this job here. And so we've never had the opportunity, I suppose, to see that side of him. Needless to say, he's done. None of us are using him anymore. We're not going to, and that's that.
Safe to say I have been burnt so badly in this process by 3 separate tradesmen, and that's not to say they're all the same. Like, I'm sure there's some good ones out there. I have just struggled to find them. So for instance, the original plumber did my due diligence, came from a reputable site, had the quote and everything in writing up front. You think that you've kind of dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's, and everything's going to be fine. And he was just a wolf in sheep's clothing. The guy that came on the day was entirely different. So rude, so rude, not professional at all. And then with this last plumber, I mean, fancy giving someone a key to your property. And don't get me wrong, there's not a lot to take, thank goodness. But even so, out of principle, and it's still valuable, and they use the opportunity not to do any work. He hadn't done any work, mind. He hadn't done any work. He's actually used the opportunity to just take. And there was one time where I caught him, and you could see the surprise on his face. He looked so startled to see me because I just showed up unexpected. He must have thought I would be at work all day or something. It was so hard managing the two and putting your trust in people that you have never met before, and you're trusting that they're going to do a good enough job in your absence. I will be letting people in and locking up and all of that good stuff because I cannot go through this again. To be that cautious and still come up against all these obstacles, it just throws you. It honestly does. Hopefully going forward, this will not happen again. I'm literally praying to God this does not happen again because I can't do it. Sometimes, no matter what you do, you cannot avoid crossing paths with some of these awful people. All you can do from there on is kind of just try and navigate as best as you know how to. It's not fun. This part of it, this is a slog. It's not funny at all. But it just is. So hopefully, by the time I speak to you next, I will have some good electricians, plumbers, tradesmen in, and work will be underway. I will be a lot less stressed. People will stop taking the piss out of me, treat me with respect. Wishful thinking. You just have to try and manifest it, really. So wish me luck, and hopefully next time I'll have a better update for you. Bye.